there's been a big misconception for a long time about what SEO is and how it actually adds value to a business. So walk us through kind of where it originated and like what successful SEO actually does.
So SEO started as an ADA compliance coding base. Back when the internet first started, we started having websites and somebody realized that how does a blind person read the website, the content? So Google, and they created these title tags, meta descriptions to help people read a website if they have sight impairments. Fast forward through that whole process, people like me saw that as an opportunity not just to say that picture is a blue jay, but to say that's a blue jay in Seattle, Washington, and then my company name. And that began to be indexed and show me high in rankings, not just for Blue Jays, but for my business name and my location. How that's helped companies, it's helped them manipulate, get their business to show up on Google search results for various different things.
So because of the way that SEO has been done and with the way people have manipulated keywords, there's been a lot of things that have been done incorrectly and a lot of garbage that's been created, and Google's always been adapting and changing the way they evaluate things so that businesses have to do things that actually add value to the end user. And so going into like another era of that, we have generative engine optimization. And so explain what generative engine optimization is and why it's something that businesses for at least the next 6 months to a year have an opportunity at really capitalizing on for a big return.
Yeah, so Generative Engine Optimization, GEO, is optimizing, training AI chatbots, training different AI tools and protocols with your business, with how you think, how you speak, how you do your business. So the idea is to tell ChatGPT, to tell Perplexity, to tell Gemini about who you are, your writing style, your likes, your dislikes, what your business offers, so that when us as consumers or business owners, when we used to go to Google for our answers. Now we're starting to go to ChatGPT and ask those questions. So now ChatGPT has to pull that information from somewhere. It does pull from internet searches and information there. It also pulls from PDFs, pulls from videos, transcriptions. Why can't we go to it and tell it, hey, this is my neighborhood. This is where the hot spots are. Oh, by the way, I'm a real estate agent in the area and I can sell homes. I can help you buy a home, those different things. So this is an opportunity for the next 6 months to a year. It's the wild, wild west. No different than over a decade ago in SEO when it was the wild, wild west. This is something that everybody is starting fresh. It's right at the beginning. Yeah. And now's the opportunity to start training AI for who you are and what your business is.
It's pretty crazy because, SEO has been something that has been important for certain industries, but generally there's a lot of companies where there's just like no shot at becoming the most found. And a lot of it is because you look at conglomerates, like if you look at the real estate space or even accounting, finance, auto businesses, like they've all been dominated by conglomerates or large national corporations like Zillow and Auto Trader and these indexes of places where you're never going to be the top found unless you're looking at a super local basis. And now there's actually a shot for businesses to become the most recommended and the most found. And the crazy thing is ChatGPT hit the 500 billion search mark way faster than Google did. I mean, ChatGPT hit it in like less than a year, right? Mm-hmm. And Google, it took how long? Like several years?
Took several years, yeah.
Several years. And so it just shows like the way people are looking for things has changed. Users don't want links. They don't want to browse for things themselves. They want to ask questions and they want the answers relevant to the way they ask the question, contextualized to the scenario and their personal needs and all of the things that are now available through AI platforms and chats, because AI learns who you are and everything you talk to on your ChatGPT account, ChatGPT remembers. So if you're asking it a question, it knows your previous preferences and all of the things, and it's going to give you actually real world advice on what you want. And now as a business owner, you can position yourself to be the real world advice. You can position yourself to be steered towards, right?
Think about it as anything else in life. When there's a foundational period, SEO's foundational period was over a decade ago. So for me to catch up to a company like Wikipedia that started over a decade ago in some type of information, it's impossible because I have to catch up. How do I catch up? I'd have to bring decade plus of information into the table for that specific information. I challenge you to go Google any major brand. The number 2 search result for every one of those major brands is Wikipedia. It is the most authoritative third-party website out there. So now we're in this AI boom, and we're on the foundational level. We're on the same playing field as Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and all these large companies, Wikipedia even. So how do we, if we don't jump into it, we're going to be talking a decade from now going, man, I wish I would have jumped into the GEO aspect of it and started optimizing. Now is the time to do it because you are on the foundational level. You are starting fresh, and that is very, very important.
So what happens between now and the next 12 months to people who don't take action on this kind of stuff? What's the impact look like?
I think you're exponentially behind. So this is back a decade ago with Google, like you said, it took to get over so many billions of searches. It took years and years. We're already there in ChatGPT, let alone all the new AIs that are booming and coming out. So if you wait, every day you wait is an exponential lag behind the person that does. And so if you want to start, do it. If you don't.
I look at it too as like an interesting concept because, as AI becomes more and more applied to various industries like real estate or finance, lending, all of these different markets, what happens is AI comes in and replaces a certain amount of people who are not necessarily the best providers. And then the market compresses because now, for example, in the lending space, you have all of these people who are already tech savvy and they're going to like a Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage comes out with an AI service where you can get a mortgage without ever talking to a human. It'll underwrite you, it'll give you your interest rate, it'll apply everything to your scenario. And now all of these people who are previously loan officers are gone. Mm-hmm. And now all of these customers who have already been conditioned to go this route and sometimes would still veer off and go to a human for a higher rate with a better service. Now these people are all steering in towards ChatGPT or to whatever AI platform is. And so now the market's compressed. And so now what you have is you have a smaller amount of people looking for the hand-holding. And then of the smaller amount of people, you have the same amount of mortgage providers. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is half the mortgage providers end up losing business. And they end up going into other industries, whatever they need to do to provide a paycheck for themselves, they fall out of it. And so what I think is super important is for businesses to pay attention to this and actually think about it, not for the money they're going to make today, but essentially assuring that they're going to be in business in 5 years. Yeah. Because if you don't take action on this stuff, what's going to happen is the market's going to take action for you, and the people who adopt are the people who are going to continue to succeed. The people who don't are going to be really upset and negative and uncomfortable with where they're at because they didn't take the step towards technology.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I think to piggyback off of that, this device is where people are really leaning towards. And now you have Apple, you have Android. They're putting AI assistants into the ability for me to ask. I'm going to say the S word, right? Because then it's going to say, hey, how can I help you? But asking our phones some of the questions, because whether it's hands-free driving, whether it's us doing things out in the world, what we're going to see, or what we're already starting to see, is even service-based industries like plumbers, construction, home remodeling, dentistry, these different places, chiropractic. You think about it as, oh, my back hurts. You tweaked your back. I'm sure you asked ChatGPT something, right? Mm-hmm. Some of those recommendations that come out are going to be, put on heat or put on cold or whatever is wrong. But then it's also going to start serving you, or you could go down the street. If you don't get results in the next 24 hours, I recommend you go to this urgent care down the street or this chiropractor down the street. Mm-hmm. Hey, you could fix your faucet, and here's the steps to do that. Or, if you can't figure it out, or if you're not good with tools, or you don't have the right tools, call, Joe's Plumbing in Tacoma, Washington. They can help you.
Yeah.
So we're going to start seeing that, and we're already seeing it in this GEO space, because all of our devices are so fast now, so much computing power, and companies are rushing to, dive into the AI space.
Yeah. We've been not only helping people benefit from AI, by making their business more visible and more attracted to the AI platforms, but we're also building AI for companies. So tell me about the omnipresent C-suite and what we're doing at Mysterious to implement this always-on system in businesses.
So we'll go back traditionally, right? You have a C-suite, high payroll, high salary. You're giving up equity in your company a lot of times to support and bring in the best talent in those different C-level. Look, we're in a place of loyalty is who will pay more. Loyalty is in different spots. Burnout is a real thing. We're after COVID. Now we're in this place of we're getting out of the gig working side, but we're still in that environment of I want to make enough money so then I can quit and go, live in a foreign country, be an expat, and do these things. So the loyalty isn't there. So eventually you're going to, if this is a company and a brand that's going to stand the test of time, you're going to have to replace that CMO, that CTO, the CIO, the COO, even the CEO. You have to replace those. With AI, where it's at today, it's on 24/7. It's always solving problems. It's always kicking things around. It doesn't have burnout. We are building these omnipresent C-suite solutions, everything with your brand voice, what your philosophies are. We have a client right now that, he follows all of these different coaches, business, self-help, all those things. We're dumping all that information, their books, even adding the Bible into it because he has that religious aspect to it and he wants to put that a part of his company. And so now it can reference all of those things without error, 24/7. There is no fatigue. There is no sick days. And you're not paying them a giant salary. And you're able to really educate and train these AI agents to help support your business. So no more is it, hey, John's out sick with COVID this week. And so what are we going to do? We have to put these things on hold. No, we're just going to go to John's, AI brain, and we're gonna keep on rolling. We're gonna keep on moving forward. It's really there to not only potentially replace, but more importantly, to help support the company so that it has a more 24/7 presence. And so we're really excited about where that's going and how that's growing. I would say the other aspect of it is we do work with companies that are in the highly regulated privacy security space, patient information, HIPAA laws. We're very cognizant of that. So we're also creating self-contained omnipresent AI solutions for clients. And what that means is it's not going out and putting itself out there on ChatGPT, on Perplexity, on these different things. We're using more closed net AI solutions in a box. And so we create it all in a box, we feed it all the right information, and then whenever a client puts in, say, patient records or a law firm saying, look at this information, it's able to keep it highly secure, all on that server. We're able to execute on that in a great timeline.
Yeah. So what's like the short-term benefit for a company to start going down this road? Like, what are the things that some organization is going to immediately notice when they implement AI and they start moving this direction with their workforce?
I think if it's used properly, you should see an increase in actual real FTE time working on important things, not having to read their email, not having to, access some of these different things or these mundane tasks. If those tasks are taken care of, things are working faster. Graphic designer, in-house graphic designer, sometimes it takes an hour to make the right adjustments on an image. Now with Nano Banana, I'm able to go in and prompt it, and I can get a result back that's high quality for the client or for the end result within 5 minutes. Right. Now I'm not looking to replace my in-house graphic designer, but that graphic designer now can be working on some of those other projects that require something more than AI. And so that's an exciting thing. So I think increase in productivity of your actual FTE is what you'll notice right off the bat.
Yeah, for sure. I've noticed like the creativity and the human taste and style, which even between creative designers or producers, there's a variance, and you have different people who excel really in one style or one thing because that's part of them. Well, what AI is now able to do is it's able to remove a lot of the doing. So now people can be in a visionary position and get done what they used to have to take a week or a month or 4 days to do in really just a matter of minutes, because AI has now made it possible to go and tinker and try and do things and wait for things to render out for a few seconds, as opposed to having to do the manual labor, see if you like it, and then revert back to try it again. So it's pretty cool. What industries do you think benefit most from this, like in the immediate short term?
All? I think all industries. I can't think of an industry that couldn't benefit from this. Even teachers. So in our education system, they're leveraging AI on a daily basis. So they're able to create, 12th grade reading assignments and have AI re-render it to a middle school level, to an elementary school level. Where it really excels in the education system is in the special education department. You have an opportunity to capture the minds and the attention of these young men and women. And when you're trying to bring to them somebody with a learning disability who might not read at a 10th or 12th grade level, but they want to know about Michael Jordan. And so how do you take Michael Jordan's biography and put it at their reading levels of 4th grade and create illustrations around it, because that captivates them. So you could take right now with AI, feed in Michael Jordan's biography, ask it to put it at a 4th grade reading level and have it as a comic book. And within probably an hour, you would get something that is, multiple pages, that is something that a person with learning disabilities that wants to learn more about Michael Jordan and captivate them, hold their attention, and have them ask questions. And so I can't think of an industry that this doesn't benefit. I just can't think of it.
I agree. Do you think, this is going to cost people jobs, this type of technology?
I think it's a huge fear. I think that's where the initial side we're going to see. We're going to see that. We're going to see a decrease in FTE because of the adoption of AI. But then what will happen is we'll eventually start seeing an increase in jobs being added. I think what's going to happen is, and what we're doing in our company is, it's not reducing FTE, but what we're making is our FTE is required to be more efficient and to learn by the adoption of AI in their everyday life.
Right.
I think without that adoption, I think that's where you're far behind. And so what we're doing is we're creating superhuman employees.
Right.
People that can do the job of 3 because they have an assistant to help them here, they have somebody to do this, and they have this, and then they can be managing that.
Right. It's accelerating things with systems, really. What's interesting, and I think will remain true, is I think top producing talent for all companies will remain. And I think what you'll see the most affected is support staff. Like people who don't have a really valuable skill. Like, for example, like a really top salesperson. I don't think they'll be replaced, but I think, their support staff will. They'll no longer need to write contracts. The contracts will be transcribed and listened to by AI and then adopted into the company contracting system, all automated.
Think about it like this. If we had a traditional office with a receptionist, I don't think today we would have our receptionist answering phones. I think what we would have our receptionist doing is being a chief greeting officer, somebody who, when somebody comes in, and we've been in meetings where we're sitting in the waiting room just staring at the receptionist for, Joe can't make it here because he's 20 minutes late. Would you like a coffee or would you like a water? As opposed to, and then that person's answering the phone and stuff, as opposed to, that receptionist taking us for a tour of the facility, of the building, asking us questions, really interacting with us on a human level, which was what we would love to have happen instead of just sitting there, waiting.
Awkwardly.
Yeah. And so I'm excited for that transition.
So in the marketing space, a lot of things are changing relating to AI, and we're kind of in a unique position as a company because not only do we strategize and implement marketing, but we also strategize and implement technology for companies. And so one of the things where there's been a big shift has been in the paid ad space. And so, what do you really see that's broken in today's ad ecosystem?
So What I see broken in ad space today, paid ad space today, is the dependency on third-party reporting on ROAS and some of these reporting softwares and analytics and things like that. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, Google, they don't get paid more money by showing you bad numbers. They get paid more money because they're showing you numbers that are reported by their system. And what I see is those reporting styles and those things are dead. What we're trying to do is get to actual tangible intent and actual tangible results. We want clients to go with us that want to blow their brand up in the right homes for the right intent. As opposed to, hey, I have a 3 ROAS because that's what Facebook told me. Or are you sure? Like, have you seen that in the bottom line? We have a client right now who they shut off their ads because they were like, I don't believe that we're getting the ROAS. They shut off their ads that they were self-directing through Facebook, and they saw no decrease in ROAS, no nothing. And so is that because of some other external issue or reason why it stayed the same? No, they didn't do anything different. All they did was shut off their ads. And so, these reporting systems are self-serving. And what we need to do is start transitioning clients towards seeing the intent, understanding what advertising was and what should be. And that is creating brand awareness, creating intent for the customer to want to come and buy your product or take experience in your services. And you can't do that by just throwing it up there and waiting for some report to tell you that it actually happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Why are ROAS and attribution falling apart for most brands? What is the main reason? Like, what are people looking at wrong?
Well, it's still that dependency on, it's the dependency on.
So it's kind of like the concept of, I take my BMW to the BMW dealership and I get an oil change, and all of a sudden they tell me that there's 25 things I need to do and it's $9,000 to fix it. Yeah. And then I take it to a private mechanic and they say, no, there's no problem.
Right. Who do you believe?
I believe the private mechanic.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think
they're incentivized to tell you that there's things that are good because then you keep spending money.
The shock and awe of Mysterious is that we go into these meetings and these situations and we're fighting against the rainbows and the fun excitement of, oh, I have this great number, or my friend in their business has this great number. And the reality is, we take a look at the black and white data, and the black and white data doesn't lie in analytics.
Yeah.
So when I look at the analytics and I say, well, you've had 10 people on your website for the entire week. No, we're, Facebook and Google and these other places are telling me my ads are killing it. Or, these other third-party like news agencies that are doing
PRs.
paid, they're doing paid TV commercials and things like that. Well, they say I'm getting tons of traffic. Well, we have that in Auto Trader, right? Yeah. Auto Trader says they're sending all this information to your website, but yet they're only on site for 3 seconds or less. Well, that's what is that? They're not doing anything.
No business benefit from that.
And so our client is fighting us on the budget when we're showing them that we're sending them people that are on their website for over 2 minutes, and they're actually scrolling, they're actually clicking,
looking, reaching out, right? Yeah.
And so for us, we just come into those situations where it's no bullshit, right? We're just like, hey, here it is. And if they choose to believe those third parties, well, then you keep on giving money to those third parties, and they're the ones that drive in the fancy yachts.
Yeah.
They're the ones doing all that fun stuff. We're just trying to make sure that your brand is seen in front of the right people in the right areas and gives the right opportunity for businesses to receive intent-based traffic.
Right. One of the interesting things that I think has changed too is the content in the way people advertise really has been shifting and adapting. And I think what I'm noticing is that the brands that are most successful with the media in their campaigns have diverse assets. Mm-hmm. A bunch of different things that they're applying to a campaign or a market segment. And I think the reason why is because we can serve ads so specifically to the exact category. If you have a 1 million person audience, we can serve ads down to groups of 10,000. Mm-hmm. And we can get hyper specific. So what I think is really interesting with the paid ad space is I think a lot of people have been taking an approach for a long time where they create a message that's for everybody and they show it to everybody. And I think now really the key is to create a message for each specific type of customer that you have and show it only to that person and make your brand feel like it's meant for them.
The best brand message is served to me at a 40, 50-year-old man that likes sports, video games, and it talks to me that way. My wife, she should receive it as a middle-aged woman that is in education or in childcare and is looking for that type of information. It's the same message delivered two different ways. And so by shooting content in multiple ways with the same message at hand and then delivered exactly to the right people, I've had that conversation before. How much fun would it be if all of the videos that I seen were for women's, sports, or for, women's size shoe? Like I wear size 15 shoe, so I can't find I'm not excited about a pink shoe that doesn't even come in my size.
Yeah.
As opposed to if I'm receiving that ads talking about, hey, big and tall, blah, 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 I'm like, whoo. Let's go.
Yeah, I agree. So where do you think MDSP is separating through the noise, and what is our network that we've built doing differently?
So because of our database, so when you take that intent-based advertising and marketing and you look at it with the ability to serve it to the exact individual, our database is 330 million people, over 4,000 data points, and it's updated every 14, 15 days. And so what that does is allow for us to take geographic, financial, all the way down to gender, age, and get into the household and deliver to the right person. And so we're able to do that across all the different platforms, so that if somebody is playing Spider Solitaire, they're going to receive the ad. If somebody's on Facebook, they're going to receive the ad. If somebody's on Google, they're going to receive the ad. If they're on their television, they're going to receive the ad. So it's our opportunity, our ability to push that information to that person holistically, across their phone, across their watch, across their television, across their computer.
Would you say that data is still the most valuable?
I still say data is king. Data is king because by having data, again, I go back to that conversation of how boring would the world be if all of my data was private to me. If all the data is private to me, that means all the ads are sterile and basic.
Right.
And they're not tailored towards me. I freely give my data up because I want to receive all of that great information. So for me, being able to collect that data, I'll tell people all the time, I love ketchup. And so for me to be able to get ads for ketchup, I want you to know how much ketchup I eat so that I get the right ads for the right sales of ketchup. I don't eat mayonnaise. I don't want mayonnaise ads.
Yeah.
So data is king. And if you have nice, fresh data that's updated all the time, you are king of the hill when it comes to the data aggregation side.
I have a question for you, which is kind of on a different topic, but why are we turning away so many clients? Why do you think, we've told a lot of people to finally fuck off this year. Why have we done that?
You'll hear me say it all the time, toe tappers. I think that's first and foremost. For me, for us, toe tappers drive us absolutely mad because marketing and advertising is a pizza pie. And so each slice needs to be taken care of. When's the last time you received a pizza with 7 of the 8 slices? You would reject that pizza. Clients are coming to us with a limited budget or even a large budget, but want to only participate in only a couple of the slices, and yet hold us accountable for their end operations, their end goals. For us, we want to be able to deliver the entire pizza pie, make sure it's in an amazing box, make sure their brand is first and foremost, targeting the right people, and it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time to boil up. If I go buy a toaster today and I'm faced with 3 different toasters, I Google or I go to ChatGPT and I look up and I say, what about this toaster? And so on and so forth. So I don't just make that buying decision off of one ad that I saw. I'm doing it off of multiple things. And so we're saying no and telling clients to fuck off because for them, they're toe tapping or they don't have realistic expectations. Sometimes that expectation is, well, I need to sell more cars. Okay, great. Are you holding me accountable for direct sales of those cars? Yes. Like, okay, great. Then we need to come in, and part of our service, and we're happy to do it. We're happy to consult on it and come in and help them build a better sales team, build a better ops team, build a better maintenance facility. We can do those things. Whoa, hey, Ben, no, that's on us. Okay, well, then you can't hold me accountable because you have shitty cars on your lot that are too high priced. We're driving millions of people to your website, millions of people searching for you. If they don't buy, that's not on us. Mm-hmm. So we have to have those honest, realistic expectations. And I'm okay if you want to pull your budget and go somewhere else. Just know you're giving them the money and they're not having the care that we have trying to help you identify where the holes are in your business.
Yeah.
The holes aren't in us getting your business in front of people. The holes in your business sometimes is within.
Yeah. I think one of the main things for me has been turning things down that I don't believe in.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of people who come and ask for our help and they have a product or a service or something that they've created, but I look at the business and it's not like I'm some Shark Tank investor, but
Sure.
You know, I've been doing this for a long time now and you've been doing this for longer than I. And I have a pretty good idea if I ask the right questions and I get the right feel for, you know, what someone has going on, whether or not it's going to work and whether or not it's something worth advertising for. I've been telling people no because I look at what they do and I don't see it being something. Just because you advertise something doesn't make it successful or good. You cannot advertise your way out of a bad business model. Huh. And kind of like you're saying with operations being broken or different fundamentals of the business, advertising is only creating more of what already exists. It's bringing attention. Attention creates demand. And so if you have something that's shitty, then you're just bringing attention to something that's already broken. And it's only going to become more broken because the more volume that comes into it, you'll see the problems magnify. And I've learned that those are very messy situations to be a part of. And I think that is one of the main reasons I say no, or I don't respond, or I turn things away.
When I was in the military, we used to talk about polishing the turd.
Yeah.
So we can polish the turd all day.
It's still a turd.
It's still a turd.
Right.
And so, and it's okay. We're willing to tell people, hey, this is not for us. This is not something, and we do it respectfully and we do it tastefully. But at the same time, and I think sometimes we give, advice that they may or may not like. Hey, I think it's something you should stop doing that service business if you're not going to be a business owner that's entrenched in it doing the work every day. That's what this business entails. Look at every one of those service-based business owners. They're all passionate and they're run by it. But when we ask the client, so are you passionate about this service? And he says, no, I just fell into it. I'm like, you either need to find a business partner that's passionate about it, have them be an owner-operator, or stop spending your money on it and go find something else to do.
Yeah.
He didn't like it that much. That's okay.
Yeah.
But in the end, that was the right advice. It's just advice he didn't want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's two ways to grow. I mean, the first way to grow is to be passionate about it and grind through it. And I think you have to have the passion to be able to withstand the grind. The second thing would be to have money to pay other people to grind through it. So if you don't have either, then you're kind of hosed.
Yeah.
It's time to pick a new thing.
Yeah. Reminds me of a friend of mine who I was talking to her and she said, man, I just can't find the right counselor. And I said, what do you mean? What's going on? She's like, yeah, I talked to him and after the first session, I fire him. How many have you been through? 10. I'm like, what happens? They all tell me I'm crazy. Well, I'm your friend. I'm just going to let you know you're crazy too.
Yeah.
Now we're not friends anymore. I don't know. So sometimes a lot of us as humans, we don't necessarily like to be told some of those hard truths.
Yeah.
But I think a true friend, I think a true business owner, a true colleague is willing to tell that information regardless of the outcome.
Yeah. Well, that's what you always tell our clients.
That's right.
I'm the guy you hire to tell you what you don't want to hear.
That's right.
But you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.